Cool.
Okay, we're recording.
We're good?
Yep.
All right. Welcome everybody to YAM's weekly community call. Every week on Thursday at the same time, we have this community call. My name is Fedas, and I will be guiding us through this. So before we get started, if anybody's not speaking, just please put yourself on mute and just saves on the technical issues. Aside from that, everybody can hear me. Everybody can see the agenda screen. Good to go?
Yeah, good to go.
I'll take that as yes. Awesome. Let's first start off with any community introductions of new members or that want to introduce themselves. You're welcome to if you like. All right, we'll move on. We've got some new team members. Actually, one of them's on this call this evening. I guess we'll start off there. Indigo has joined onto our team as a front-end developer and is excited to be working with us. So Indigo, if you don't mind, can you give a quick background and kind of what makes you excited? What part of YAM makes you excited?
Hey, y'all. It's very nice to be here. My background, I'm traditionally a systems engineer, or not a systems engineer, a systems developer, and I worked on like simulators and things. And then I've been in crypto since like 2015 or so, and I just started learning about Solidity and everything. And I just got really interested in DeFi. And yeah, you guys are doing some interesting work, especially my favorite thing is degenerative. And I think the potential for that is absolutely huge. So I'm really excited to be here, and I really want to start working with you guys. So yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Welcome. Harold, did you have something to say? Excellent. Well, welcome to the team, Indigo. We're glad to have you. We are expanding quite quickly. We've got a lot of things that are going on, which we'll go through in this agenda. But we're happy to have you, and we look forward to working with you closely soon. I think OX Jason is not on today, but next time I'd like to get him on to introduce himself as well. Civil Queen, as you guys know, is working on a lot of the synthetics for UMA, and he is anonymous, so he doesn't like to come onto these calls, which is totally understandable. You know, there's a lot of anonymous developers that just don't want to share their personal information. Sybil has written a quick bio for us. He has 10 years of experience in back-end engineering plus financial engineering. Used to work as a quant at a bank plus fund on Wall Street, and then a back-end developer at a FANG type place. He's been in DeFi since early OX Dharma days in 17, and since has been involved in a variety of DeFi protocols, DApps over the last few years. Active on the UMA ecosystems for a few months, and when they started out in 2018, and excited to work on degenerative YAM efforts with YAM. So he is working on a lot of the UMIPs and the specifications for new synthetics. So right now, he is working on the UGAS synthetic. So glad to have him as well. It is, I did check with him, it is a male. So yeah, I had that question too. Anyways, any other introductions or community members or anything anybody else would like to add or say? All right, moving on. So past week in governance. We have a couple of things on the snapshot page. I put this link here so that everybody can go and vote. I'll be going over the snapshot items and upcoming governance in a section below. YAM v2 migration, as you guys know, is ending on the 15th. We just want to remind everybody on every weekly call just to make sure that everybody doesn't forget. Feel free to let other people know. The rebase function of YAM is off, obviously. And for you to migrate, you would use this link. If you have any questions as far as V2 migration, YAM V2 to current YAM, which is also known as YAM, also known as YAM V3, If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Huobi is listing Yam on, is it the 9th? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, it's the 9th.
Awesome. So Huobi is listing Yam on the 9th. Excellent work, community. As you guys, thank you for letting Huobi know, informing them that the migration is ending. You guys did an awesome job at it. I'd also like to thank the founders for creating so much FOMO and hype in the beginning of Yam, that they listed Yam in the first place without any fee or any cost to us. They just did it on their own because of the excitement around Yam, the first launch of Yam, which has ultimately led us to it being listed on Huobi's site. As you guys know, being listed on SEX centralized exchanges is not easy, and it's very, very expensive. And we did not have to pay for any of this. And it's primarily due to the community. So you guys did an awesome job, and thank you for that. Moving on, any other questions on past week in governance? All right, on-chain voting proposals. Right now, it's just passed. Sorry. So the multi-sig governance guardian and the monthly contributor pay has passed. It's just queued up to be executed. YDS creation and funding is coming up next. So we need to deploy a couple of contracts and then also put through on-chain governance the funding of the YDS. A little bit further along, we've got some potential branding changes to YDS. YDS, as you guys know, is Yam DAO Set, and it's our investment arm of the Yam Treasury. So this investment arm's goal and purpose is to basically grow the value of the Yam Treasury, invest in different assets. Generally speaking, not super risky. So we're not looking to buy, the small cap crypto assets. We're looking at more of buying the large cap stuff, like Bitcoin, WBTC or ETH, and investing it, using those assets to farm or even stable coins. We have a whole strategy, a portfolio strategy, and a portfolio manager, Krugman, who has a lot of experience in how to do this. You guys can go review the forums for all the details, but we're to a point where we're ready to launch. We just need to finish the on-chain contracts, the on-chain voting. Moving Treasury UMA farming from UGAS February to UGAS March. So on the 7th, we'll be taking a snapshot of the current, the current UGAS rewards for everybody. So we'll be calculating all the rewards previous to February 7th. And on the 7th, we'll snapshot it, make sure that we'll run a script to make sure that everybody gets their UMA rewards, which have nicely tripled or doubled or tripled lately because UMA has gone up in price. And then we'll be submitting an on-chain vote to distribute those rewards. Those rewards are put into our treasury. So in order for us to get it out of the treasury, there needs to be an on-chain vote. That's unfortunately how it works. So with that being said, we'll be doing that on a monthly basis. So if it's this time we do it on February 7th, next month we do it on March 7th, and then we'll do the same cycle over again. As a DAO, that's how our governance works with the on-chain voting.
Fedes,
yeah.
Just on this point, to clarify, so the UMA that's visible in the treasury right now, that includes all of the UMA rewards, right? So that also includes the one that will be distributed.
Right, that's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the treasury has all the UMA rewards right now for everybody, which on the 7th plus, Nate's gonna work on writing the smart contract to distribute all this, double checking, make sure that everybody's getting rewarded, that should get rewarded. And then we'll put the contract on chain, which will take 2.5 days to execute. So don't expect your rewards right on the 7th or the 8th. Once we put the contract on chain, it does take time. And, we are a DAO, so it is important for everybody to vote. And, we are governed not by just the team, but by the entire community. Any other questions? That was a good question, Theo. All right, moving on. Upcoming governance. So we just put up a snapshot. So as you guys have probably heard, the UMA or ULabs, which is part of UMA, is created a synthetic called UStonks. And basically this synthetic tracks the top 10 most talked about Wall Street bets stocks. So obviously one of them would be GameStop, AMC, et cetera, et cetera. They created the synthetic, they programmed it out. It's almost ready to be deployed, but there's no DApp that's hosting it. There's no DApp that's listing it essentially. So they want us to do it. And there are some potential regulatory issues with it, regulatory risk with it. So to make sure that we're all on the same page and the YAM DAO and degenerative.finance is on the same page, we put up a snapshot to make sure that if you want to vote and you want to get this listed, vote on it. But just be aware of your own jurisdictions, your own, where you're located. Most people, it's hard to figure out anything on the internet, especially when it comes to decentralized stuff. But if you do like UStonks, and you do like potentially more in the future, because there was a recommendation on creating a UMoon fund where it's like, we put space in it, for Virgin Galactic, some other stocks in it as well. So we could be, it is a possibility to do more in this space, but there are, since you're tracking the value of a basket of securities, in the US, it's not considered a purview under the SEC, but it could be potentially under the CFTC. So in the US, be aware of this. If you do want to see it listed, vote on it. The voting ends in a few days, in 3 days. Once it ends, we should be able to get up on our site pretty quickly. It is a huge potential for degenerative, but we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as that goes. Any questions on this?
I don't have a question, just as a observation. If you look at the market reaction when that was announced, UMA, the token, has massively profited from it, but I haven't seen as much of a spillover into YAM. Right? Kind of people might say, oh, if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, will it have a negative impact on YAM? Well, we don't know for sure, but as my perception of the market, it hasn't, investors haven't focused on YAM for UStonks.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is something that we never planned on doing. It's a project that was led by UMA. But as somebody that's a partner with UMA, that has the that can put out the interface or list it, this is where we're at. Regardless, we're still going to list other synthetics like UVault BTC, UVault ETH. We also have some potential other synthetics, which I'll go into below. But everybody that's listening to this call, definitely take a look, think about it. If you want us to list it, we'll list it. YAM is collateral on UMA. I know Ross has been working on it. It's moving along quite nicely. Ross, did you want to say anything about it?
Not a whole lot. There's a meeting on Monday for UMA. Their governance meeting that'll go over the collateral, and then we're still working on the price identifiers. But Sybil Queen has been very helpful in that, and there's some good. There's some projects that are putting together some of the stuff that we need as well. So we should be able to sort of piggyback on some of that stuff. So that's helpful.
Awesome. Thanks, Ross. Yeah, so this is going to be really cool. We're getting on it. It will help the utility of YAM itself. YDS name change and branding. Jim, did you want to talk about this now or maybe further down in the marketing section?
Yeah, let's talk about it later.
Sounds good. So we are looking at some potential branding changes to YDS, which I think are really cool. Proposal to increase general expense fund has passed already. No, it's still up. It's up now. So this is part of the vote that I need you guys to help with and vote. We're putting in 30,000 YAM into a contributor from the contributor compensation pool into the general expense fund. The general expense fund will be a multi-sig, 2 or 3 of non-US persons. But basically, we need this fund to help. Primarily, right now, it's like to help with paying for the UGAS logo contest, to pay for things like that, any contest, any general expenses, plus also as we're moving forward to onboard contributors, in order for the contributor to get their kind of regular pay, they need to go through the governance process, which is normal. All the current contributors went through that process. But before we get there, because it does take time, it does take a decent amount of time to get the proposals done, to get the voting done, to get the snapshots, et cetera, et cetera. So while we're in the process of doing that, we'd like to be able to basically pay these contributors for their work. It's not a permanent solution to paying them, but it's a temporary one just to get them to a point where they can get through governance. So we do have, like, as you can see, quite a few new team members. Oh my God, I forgot one very important one, Theo. I apologize. Theo, you were supposed to be on this list. We are onboarding Theo as a part-time contributor. He's been doing a lot of great work with YAM before, even just as just a regular community member. He's been doing a ton of different things for YAM, and we're super excited to have him on. Theo, if you don't mind, can you give a quick background and what you're excited about for YAM?
Yeah, sure. Background is general business and finance background. Used to work in M&A and corporate finance for some of the larger investment banks. Also spent time in business development at a big corporate. And then the last couple of years really focused on crypto, various tech startup ideas. And yeah, so look at me as a biz dev guy. I look at things through a business point of view. What excites me about YAM? What I liked about YAM is that you can join YAM as a contributor who has an interest or a certain proficiency in one thing. So in my case, it's the kind of business look or business perspective. And I look at YAM and I see certain things where I think I can contribute, I can make a difference. I kind of like that people congregate and meet at the YAM DAO, and then they pick the things they're good at and exchange ideas, exchange thoughts, and as a sum contribute to the YAM DAO and achieve something that's so much bigger than just individual contributions, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Theo. I apologize for that. I've been working with you so closely for the last couple of weeks that I just forgot that you haven't been fully introduced yet. But I'm super excited to have you on board. What you've been doing as far as the marketing and business development side has been awesome, and we're looking forward to doing more.
Hear, hear.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Let me get back to where I was. So new contributor proposals will be coming up. Please vote on the general expense fund. We do need that, and it is very useful for us. Any other questions about upcoming in governance? All right, awesome. So degenerative finance. You guys know that we're focusing a lot of time and effort on this, and not without reason. It is a very cool, interesting, and growing ecosystem within DeFi. And synthetic tokens are here to stay. They're only going to get better. UMA's got quite a few upgrades to their contracts coming up. If you want to know more about it, head over to their Discord. Really awesome team there. They're very professional. They'll get you up to speed right away. So with that, there's a link that we've posted up a couple of times to get upvotes to add UGAS January, February, and March to Zapper's system, UI. All right, so with new synths, the exciting stuff. Ustox I spoke about above. Vote. BTC Vol is basically the thing that we spoke about last time. Here's a Medium article that discusses it. Basically tracks the volatility of BTC and it has the same kind of monthly contracts that UGAS does. APY Vision is working on an impermanent loss synthetic, which is pretty cool as well. Basically, a lot of if you've been in DeFi for a minute and you've been LPing, providing liquidity on any pools, there's always a risk of impermanent loss. Essentially, where one side of the pool, let's just say ETH BTC, which usually is pretty good, but ETH has been on a rise quickly lately. And when it's on a rise, essentially what happens is there's this thing called impermanent loss. And you lose a little bit of the value of the rise as ETH is going up because you're a liquidity provider in a AMM pool like Uniswap. So what APY Vision is trying to do is trying to create a insurance essentially that will track the impermanent loss of a certain pool, BTC ETH. It will track it from a start date to an end date. And then if your impermanent loss is high, the value of the token would be higher or lower depending on what the impermanent loss is at the end. So it's a neat product. It is got a lot of potential for it because once you start looking at your impermanent loss, you might be concerned about it. And APY Vision, if you guys haven't used before, a really cool interface. You put in whatever ETH address, and it takes a look at all of your LP tokens, and it tells you kind of how well it's done, if there's been any impermanent loss in it. Really, really awesome interface. I highly recommend it. Any questions with new synths?
Yeah, just on APY Vision, how would that work between them and us?
So what we're thinking of doing, it hasn't been solidified yet, but they're going to build it out. We're going to host it and list it. Essentially, we would find some way to share the DApp rewards with them. They would also host it and list it on their site. This is the general idea, but moving forward, we also have some other potential partnerships that would want to do the same thing. Since there's actually a couple of different protocols or platforms that are building on top of UMA. Degenerative Finance is obviously one of them. OpenDAO is another one. And UMA's platform is open to anybody who wants to build on it, hence the DApp rewards. So it wouldn't hurt to basically cross-market all these synthetics, where, hopefully what we're trying to do is make Degenerative Finance the main source of synthetics. So, if we can host everybody's synthetics on here, we would get ultimately more rewards and a better ecosystem. We are also working on potentially a vault. I didn't put that on here, but we are in the works of trying to figure out how to build a synthetic vault. Essentially, one of the issues that users have on UGAS is that it expires every month. So it would require you to withdraw your tokens that month or settle your tokens at the end of the month. And then if you wanted to, you could go back and mint on the next month in order to get the rewards. What this vault would do is it would take ETH from whoever wants to contribute or whoever wants to mine UMA rewards. It would take ETH, bundle it together with other people, whoever wants to include ETH, for example, our treasury. Our treasury would be probably one of the bigger positions in it. And then it would mint an LP, create the UGAS token, mint it, LP it, keep track of the collateral ratio in the vault. But at the same time, it would roll it over every month so that you're not constantly paying the gas and basically manually rolling over each of the UGAS contracts. This would help out a lot in any of these synthetics. One of the goal, the long-term goal is to have a vault for each so that you can continue to mine UMA rewards, but also provides a strong liquidity for the market. Any questions at the moment?
So as far as a vault goes, because I think that's honestly a really big deal, there are really two ways to go about it. One is more passive, like a traditional vault that we've seen that's more automated, and then the other is more of like a managed set, kind of like a token set, or similar to like our YDS product. Which sort of direction are we leaning at the moment, and which has the heavier deadlift?
This would be more of a Yearn type vault.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the set is it's a whole different beast. I don't know if it would even work the way that we would want it to work. But definitely essentially what we're doing with the treasury right now is what we're going to do for other people. So the treasury goes in and mints LPs using the on-chain contracts and rolls over on a monthly basis. We're just going to bring everybody along with us and make it more and more efficient and easier and better for everybody. Also, like I said, builds the liquidity in the system.
If we can build in some liquidation safety mechanisms into that as well, I think that would be really powerful, looking at like DeFi Saver and things.
Yep. Yeah, that would natively be part of it.
Yeah, sick. That's going to be huge, I think, like really huge.
Yeah, that's going to potentially also, well, we can create some sort of a fee structure around it because it does save everybody money. It's kind of like what Harvest Finance does, where it auto harvests gains and reinvest it for you. Ultimately, in the long run, you actually save money versus doing it yourself. But you do pay a little bit of a fee for it, which isn't a big deal because you do make more than you actually end up spending. So moving on, 30-day median average gas price dashboard will be up by the 11th. Discord notifications for changes in UGAS price. This is one of the tools that will help us keep track of vaults, especially it will help us keep track of our vault to make sure that liquidations aren't an issue. Personal gas analysis tools are coming in February sometime this month. This is going to be really cool for people to see kind of what they've already spent on gas for the last 30 days, what their median is. If they bought UGAS 30 days ago, this might be what it's worth now. Or if it's going to settle soon, this is the 30-day median gas average. Basically a bunch of tooltips to tell you, hey, UGAS is a great product for you. You should totally be using it, and we'll be able to get it automated and implemented into our interface. Another page is a current user positions page. Since we're going to be doing a lot of different synths, you might have more than one UGAS. You might have a UVol. You might have a IL synth as well. So we need somewhere to keep track of it all. So these are all in progress right now. Theo, you have a forum discussion that you put up. Can you go over this for everybody?
Yeah, of course. So BizDev action item number 1, trying to increase or maximize TVL for the UGAS products. And so what I noticed when I looked around Zapper and Zerion, those UIs don't support synthetic minting, right? But our big problem is we need to get traffic to the minter, and then obviously those people who mint also LP. At the moment, it is incentivized with the 50% of all UMA rewards. And last time I checked, because of the rising UMA price, it was quite attractive already at around 55% for the February contract and about 90% for the March contract. However, when I looked at the idea behind the developer mining, I realized there might be one thing that hasn't worked out, and we could potentially use that by tweaking the economics a little bit. And what I'm referring to are the depth mining rewards. So at the moment, out of the 100% developer mining rewards, 40% of those rewards flow to DApps, and which is effectively us. It's the degenerative.finance. And so the thinking is, well, if it stays with us anyway, we want to maximize TVL, so we should try everything we can to increase TVL. And why don't we reallocate those 40% DApp rewards towards LPs, right? In order to incentivize minting and LPing. Yeah, I've kind of went through that on the Discord and put up a forum discussion. So far, 9 people voted. They're all in favor of it. The second question was how much of those DApp rewards should be given from YAM to LPs, and it's between 90 to 100%. Depending on what percentage we agree on or what will be voted into, that will increase the API for LPs by around 1.6 to 1.8 times, right? So if you want to be rough with those numbers, it's almost doubling the APR to whoever mints and LPs. And then I also asked whether we should give these additional rewards to whoever minted and LP'd the January contract. The consensus seems to be no. And so just to kind of summarize this again in easy numbers. So right now, out of all the UMA rewards, 50% go to the YAM treasury, and 50%, only 50% go to those people who are really dependent on, namely those investors who mint an LP. And if we decided to hand out 100% of all DApp rewards, then that ratio would shift from 50-50 to 90 and 10. The YAM treasury would only retain 10%. And so that would be a significant improvement of APRs. We can also then combine that with another marketing campaign, as in, go on Twitter, go into forums and kind of blast the message that LPs will get an even higher return, whilst keeping their full exposure to Ethereum. And just to kind of close that kind of thought, this is an idea that pays by results, meaning we don't lose anything. If we change this and we say, okay, LP is going to get much more, and nothing happens, there won't be any additional distributions, because right now YAM DAO is providing the majority of the LP units anyway. However, if it succeeds and we get more people interested, then TVL will grow. We get more UMA rewards in total. We obviously generate traction. We have a more prominent product. We have a deeper pool. There's less slippage, more people talking about it, and that obviously rolling over into a larger degenerative finance brand visibility.
That's awesome. So you're saying because we're self-provisioning, we're basically going to be earning the rewards, whether they go direct to our treasury or they're rewarded to our own LP.
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
The only time that would change would be if we just get a flood of new mentors and LPers who basically dilutes YAM treasury stake in the LP. essentially.
Which in theory is ideal. That's
Right,
exactly what
right.
we want, which is perfect.
Well, in addition to that, the current synth market, UMA pays rewards based on the synth market, the entire synth market, and UGAS's piece of it. So the entire synth market right now is 22 million, I think, or more. So even if we added, 5 million worth of synths, which is a lot of minting and LPing, which is a ton of minting and LPing, it would only decrease the overall APR rewards by 25%. I think my math is approximately right, but it wouldn't really affect your APY. So long story short, Theo wants to give you guys more money for minting and LPing, and I think the general consensus is yes. With the increase in UMA value, we're looking at close to 100% rewards on your ETH. The cool thing about it is that number one, your ETH is locked in there. So when you mint an LP, essentially your exposure is net neutral, except for a little bit of impermanent loss risk and liquidity risk, or liquidation risk. So do keep an eye on your liquidation amount. UGAS doesn't fluctuate like crazy, so it's not that bad. So on the dashboard, you'll be able to see a liquidation price. This is the price at which if UGAS gets this high, if it goes up this much, then you might be liquidated. So keep an eye on that. But the 100% APY, if this gets implemented, is very serious. If we were to go through this and get this implemented, we would want to start on February 7th when we roll around the rewards for the next set for the next month. So check out the forum post. Theo, are you going to put up a snapshot shortly?
Yeah, exactly. So I was planning to put up a snapshot probably tomorrow, just because time is of the essence, and February is a short month, and then we have to develop a mining rewards in place for Feb and March. So I'd like to get this out of the door ASAP.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that. We definitely want and need your votes for it. It should, the way we're thinking about it, it will be beneficial for everybody, and everybody will hopefully make more money. All right. So anything else you'd like to add, Theo?
No, that's everything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Confirm for everybody. So the rewards that are rolling over on the 7th, what month are they rolling over to? Are they moving over to the March UGAS rewards?
So we've decided. Yeah. So good question. So when I say rolling over, that means it just stops. We distribute the rewards for everything before February 7th. And then the next month's cadence is on March 7th to distribute all the rewards from February 7th to March 7th. So who gets the rewards? So the last time we talked about this, basically the community has decided that everybody's equal, meaning that if you mint an LP on February contract, you'll get a similar distribution of rewards as March or April, so that we're not allocating specifically extra amounts on certain months. We're just kind of keeping it all equal so that it's less confusing. The liquidity doesn't dry up really quickly on 1 month. We want some liquidity on February, even though it's starting, you're already in February. So some of the data is already known for the expiry. So we still want some liquidity on there in case anybody wants to sell or anybody wants to buy. We don't want to remove the liquidity or the rewards for any month. So it's all equal, basically. Any questions on Degenerative? All right, let's move along. We're running out of time. Umbrella protocol updates. Contract is still in progress. Development post alpha continues. We are looking for people to help on Umbrella protocol. This is again our smart contract insurance. If anybody that's listening to this is familiar with smart contract insurance or familiar with insurance in general, how it works, or even better, smart contract insurance, please reach out to us, let us know. YDS update, Nate, if you want to go through this.
Yep. So we had our snapshot proposal last week that decided on the initial amount to fund. It landed on $1 million in YUSD. We are finalizing some marketing things that I believe Fedis mentioned earlier around mainly just the name and symbol for the set itself. And yeah, just ongoing development of further capabilities for YDS.
Awesome, thanks, Nate. So just to remind you guys, we don't want, so every time the market goes up, somebody comes in and says, hey, why don't we buy X, Y, and Z? And you know, the Treasury investment arm, it's about steady growth. It's not about, you know, throwing all of our money into one thing one day and then taking it all out the next day. It's about making good long-term decisions and making risk-adjusted investment choices. So it is about steady growth, not just about, you know, chasing whatever's hot. Media marketing, I'm going to let Jim, you take over from here. Thank you, Jim.
Maybe I quickly start with the first piece, just a quick action item or agenda item. So we obviously want to increase presence and visibility of Degen Finance. So talking to DeFi Pulse, DeFi Llama, DBank to get degenerative finance listed, including the TVL. Also spoke to a platform called DeepDAO that lists, generally speaking, all DAOs with important KPIs. So all the documents have been provided and they will list us as well in their overview over the next weeks. And then in parallel, Bruce and I discussed to set up pitch decks and, you know, kick off this dialogue with Zappa Zerions for UGAS and Degen Finance products as well as YDS. Yeah, and then Chris also initiated some discussions, and that is work in progress. We also have a community member who started with a Dune Analytics dashboard. I think this is great. Dune Analytics being the kind of you know, data trove for a bunch of DeFi people. I also use it a lot, and yeah, just generally speaking, allowing people to see behind the scenes and easily get access into data that kind of speak for themselves as we scale and as we grow Degen and YAM and YDS and all the other products.
Awesome, good work. Appreciate you taking the lead on a lot of these items. Designer, Jim, would you like to add anything? Designer, you're muted. Jim? He'll be back shortly. He may be having some technical issues. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, hey guys, sorry, I was having some internet problems. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so degenerative has become the focus right now for marketing for obvious reasons, as you mentioned earlier, Fedis. And there's the great work that Theo's doing that is going to really, I think, drive this Mint plus LP campaign that we do. There's also website improvements and user flow improvements, simplicity and easier process that I think is all part of the whole package for degenerative. So all those things are being, Bruce and I talked the other day, he said that's really where our focus should be right now as a primary focus. And so there's updates for degenerative that Bruce and I are having a call later today to go over. I've started already with the updates, but I think they'll probably be done in a couple of phases. Some immediate things that you can accomplish right away, and then a little bit more of a rework on the transaction pipeline. Any questions on that?
No, good.
So promo campaign framework. Primarily, this is a framework that is, we've been using the brand pillars or creating pillars for YAM, and then also brand pillars for the umbrella. There's kind of a level under that where when there's not really a set of brand pillars that are needed so much, but a messaging framework that flows into, it basically defines what the messaging is that will then coordinate all of the marketing for, let's say, for instance, for degenerative across all different media output that we do. So that's the promo campaign framework, a way to define our messaging. For instance, just to give you an idea on that, it would be defining the main message, the value proposition, use cases, etc. Once that's set, then it can be put into a tweet, it can be put into a Medium article, it could be put into various communications, and there's consistency. All right, so that would be a framework we'd use across everything that we do going forward. And each one would have its own framework. UGAS logo contest, we're sorting out there may be still some copyright infringements, and then we'll be moving to final selection and vote. I don't have a date for when that vote will be, but that's been really good. Been a lot of excitement around that. And I think our first community engagement program is going along quite well. So we'll have more that we'll be doing in the future. UGAS instructional videos, Chris, you can probably talk about that. I'll just finish up a couple things here. The Dow House branding. So YDS, as mentioned earlier, we've proposed a new name, Dow House. It's a way to create, Dow House is a change in name, has two pieces, Dow, which is really important, and house as in-house, like an in-house product for Dows. But also it provides basically a mnemonic to be able to remember and have a visual in the mind of what this Dow House is. So we're currently working up identity ideas right now, Bruce and I are. We're making good progress there. We got some cool stuff. Dow House also is focused on the treasury right now, but it's possible that could be, the Dow House might contain various building blocks that we provide, maybe a governance piece or a community piece or something in the future. So it does have the potential to be expanded if that seems appropriate. Right now, it's all treasury focused. The YAM website updates, I'm working with E for continuing to work out some updates. Things we're talking about doing is adding a brand partners page. Boy, there's a whole list of stuff. I'm not going to go into the details right now, but improvements in the menu, the drop-down menu, some navigational, information architecture changes on the pages. YAM brand campaign launched. Okay, so this is just the piece that I teased last week.
Real quick, Jim, on the website, I know we've talked in the past about doing some new things on the homepage and just having kind of more explanatory copy on the homepage as opposed to kind of the current, like just metrics and things. As far as like a landing page for education, I feel like we can potentially do, like we can have that real estate do some more work for kind of branding what YAM is about, specifically around like those pillars and mission statement that that you developed. Is that still on the agenda and being worked on?
100%. I agree with that. Yes, I underplayed this a little bit right now because of time commitments. So meaning that underplayed in the sense of how radical the changes might be in terms of their effect. And yes, absolutely 100% homepage, high-level brand messaging is very, very key. And then bringing in the missing components and reorganizing the existing components. Is there anything else that you are thinking of, Trent?
No, I think that sounds perfect. I would just I personally would probably put the getting some more branding on the homepage as like that first look, you know, at or near the top of the priority list of those things. But I'll also leave it to your guys' judgment. That's just kind of my intuition is that that's kind of like a somewhat basic thing that we you know, just have been putting on the back burner for a long time. And it feels like it's time to just, I mean, I think we like literally like we have, I believe, most of a homepage, you know, something sketched up to work from. So it seems like we should just go ahead and like get something implemented as that landing page that communicates the brand a little bit, even if we iterate on it in the future and clean it up.
Well, we can do that. And I've got some bold ideas for doing that. In fact, this dovetails a little bit with the brand campaign launch, which I don't know if anybody saw the tweet. That's David and Goliath. That's David with the yam head taking down Goliath. And it was the first introduction or reveal of the YAM tagline, which includes the line reject tyranny. So so it's kind of one of my ideas is around that, Trent.
Excellent. That sounds great.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll be doing a tweet series for the brand campaign. And when Bruce gets back and we talk, I'm hoping to get another one out today. And then we're going to run that for about 6 weeks, one tweet a week. And then we'll do some more stuff with that. I think we can play up and really get a lot of mileage out of the brand work that's been done, especially the short form of the mission statement and also this tagline. So I'm very excited about the tagline, what that can do. It's pretty bold. You know, I appreciate the fact that it's been embraced so that we can continue to kind of play advocates of innovators and not necessarily contrarians, but pushing the boundary. I think that's it for what I can contribute.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Theo, go ahead.
Yeah, just realized this. So you should definitely check out the meme channel on Discord. There's some really cool creative stuff happening. Yam Bros, Yamborghini, amazing GIFs being produced by community members. Yeah, just check this out, share it as much as possible. It's absolutely fun, and then kind of add something to the Yam, you know, to the Yam DAO that we haven't had before.
Also, just anyone listening and watching this, if you are an NFT person, you know, we're hoping to do more work with NFTs in the near future for marketing endeavors. We want to play in that space. We want to play in that space with you. So if you're an NFT person and that's your jam, hit us up and reach out, because, you know, we're gonna need some help. And we welcome as much help as we can get from the community.
Awesome. Anybody like to add anything else? We are running a bit low on time. I'd like to open it up to any community questions or comments from anybody. All right. Well, very cool. You know, as you guys can tell, we've got a lot of things going on. These weekly updates are good to just make sure that we're all on the same page. And we will be doing more. So if you guys have any suggestions, ideas, let us know, and we'll see you. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Same time, same place, same ugly channel. Any questions? All right. Thank you, folks. Thanks for joining.
Dennis.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.